Welcome to the Faith Legacy Series, which is designed to help families grow spiritually in the home. This series helps parents and teens connect around important topics through the preteen and teen years. Through the metaphor of mountain climbing, this seminar helps parents communicate with their teens the importance of keeping God in their friendships, dating, and future marriage. Presenting the seminar is Rob Reno, founder and director of Visionary Family Ministries. Let's listen in as Rob speaks to a group of teens and their parents about this important topic.
Well, good evening, everyone. Very impressive creations there with your mountains and your plains. Way to go. That was unbelievable. Well, there was a reason why, as we planned tonight, that we decided to have you start with that activity, and that is that God has set each one of you as moms and dads and sons and daughters. He's set you out on a climb, and it's a climb that he wants you to do together. Now, I only know a little bit about real mountain climbing. There's not a lot of mountains here in Nebraska, right? You got to drive a ways to get to those. But I've read books, and maybe you've seen some movies about like those Mount Everest types of climbers. And what those real mountain climbers say, we're going to think about Mount Everest for a minute. Which mountain was the most like Mount Everest here? Do you think maybe this one over here? I don't know. Probably not those Spire ones, but those were pretty cool. But if you talk to those Mount Everest climbers, what they'll tell you is that the most dangerous part of that mountain is from 26,000 feet to 29,000 feet, all right, up to the peak. It's those last 3,000 feet. In fact, the men and women who climb the mountain, they'll call that the death zone. Because if you're going to die on Everest, you're probably going to die somewhere between 26,000 and 29,000 feet. It's the most critical part of the climb. Now, as we talk about climbing together, the top of the mountain, in our analogy, young men and young women, is when you get to the top with mom and dad and you launch off into adulthood. How many of you young people are looking forward to launching off into adulthood? Put your hand up so I can see. Is anybody? All right, good. And I hope that you are thinking now of getting to the top of that mountain with mom and dad and loving God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength, and entering into adulthood to serve him. Now, 17 years ago or so, how many of you sons and daughters are 17? Most of you, some 18, some 16 maybe. God brought you into the world. You began this journey with your mother, with your father. And now you are in the final stretch. And this is, just like the death zone on Mount Everest, this is the most important part of the climb. This is the part of the climb where life and death decisions are made. It's the most difficult, it's the most treacherous, and perhaps it's the most important part of your journey together. Now, I want to commend you right out of the gates, because the very fact that you are here, you're a son or daughter, and you're here with your dad, you're here with your mom, lets me know already that you're still climbing together. You wouldn't have even shown up tonight if you weren't climbing together. You're very unusual, because in most families, one of two terrible things happens. Either the son or daughter during these teen years says, forget you, mom, forget you, dad, I'm climbing alone the rest of the way. They think mom or dad's an idiot. They think mom or dad is out of touch. They don't want to hear anything, do anything, be with them. And they just say, this is the time of my life to separate and do my own thing. It happens a lot. Terrible, terrible decision. The other thing that happens a lot, though, is that moms and dads decide to not keep climbing during this most difficult time of parenting. I used to be a youth pastor, and I would have, young people talking to me how their parents don't understand, my parents just don't understand, and they'd say, man, my friend Johnny, his parents let him stay out till 4 a.m. Why can't my parents let me stay out till 4 a.m? And I'll be like, well, you see, Johnny's parents have gone back down. You understand? Like, they're no longer climbing with Johnny. They have really abandoned him at a time in his life that he needed his mom, needed his dad more than ever. So God's called you to climb. He's called you to climb in this most important part of your journey together. And he wants you to climb together. More important than ever before for a young man, young woman to be close to mom, close to dad. And more important than ever before for a father or mother to be close to their son, close to their daughter. Now I'm going to have you talk about this a a little bit together. Here's the way it's going to work. There's going to be different times of the night where I'm going to break you up for questions. Sometimes those questions are going to be just with your family, so those that you came with tonight. Other times I'm going to have you talk at your tables. This first one is just a family conversation. It's only going to be a few minutes, so you may need to find a little spot around the room, push away from your table 5 or 10 feet, and on your handout you're going to see 2 questions that I want you to talk about. First one is this, and this one's for teenagers. Teens, if the top of the mountain is launching out into the world, loving God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, what part of the mountain are you on today? If that's the top, would you say, man, I'm at the bottom, I've got a long way to go? Or would you say, I'm in the middle, I'm making it, or I'm close to the top? I think that's exactly where I am. And explain what you mean. Now, parents, you remember our game a couple minutes ago? Your climbers were under attack, right? From all sorts of things going on around you. What I want you to talk about with your teenager is when you were a junior in high school, what dive bombers were attacking you? What dive bombers were attacking your family? And what things did you face at that time that made your journey more difficult?